YouTube, it's Faye, and for today's video, I'm going to be answering Woman and Machine question 6. Actually, it's not really a question, it's kind of like a request, and that is, give us a tour of your car. This can be your daily driver, which I'm gonna do today, or it can be your race car or your project car, or, I mean, heck, it can be like a shell of a car that you have hopes and dreams for. So, yeah, that being said, there's like a bunch of different questions like wrapped up into that request of give us a tour of your car. What's your favorite modification? What work have you done yourself? Or if you haven't done any work and it's totally stock, that's fine too. What's your favorite thing about your car? I don't know, man. Make up a question that you wish that we had asked you about your car and just answer it. Can you tell I've had a lot of coffee today? Still going for it. Anyway, yeah, here goes. I'm gonna start with mine because I think she's freaking awesome. My daily driver. I have a 1980 Volkswagen Rabbit that I've had for over 10 years now. I think almost 11 years. I can't remember. Let me think about that. And she is like nothing special to like the regular person. She's like 4-door, power nothing, like no air conditioning, and I live in Texas, y'all. I don't like nothing special about the car. Like most people like the 2-door GTIs, or like I don't know what most people like, the pickup trucks, or the cabriolets. Mine's just a 4-door base model Rabbit, Mark 1 Rabbit or Golf. Yeah. So, anyways, let me show you around her and introduce her to y'all. And maybe if you like this a lot, I'll do another follow-up video on my race car / project car, my Supra. So without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it. Okay, so real talk here. I actually already made this video, and I spent like all this time cleaning my car, and I vacuumed the carpets and like removed all my tools from there. And like, I don't know, I edited the video and like it looked really nice, but then like I was going to post it, I'm like, Faye, you're like a total freaking fraud. Like my car's never clean. So this is like what she usually looks like. Pretty much a mess, like all the time. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because people ask me a lot of times like, will you ever do a Toolbox tour? Like I kind of have like a mobile toolbox, y'all. Like that's just what I got going on at the moment. I just loaded up for a job. But no, you can't just like, if you see my car, like break into it and steal all my tools. Because if I'm not working on stuff, then my tools aren't in there. So, and when I am working on stuff, like my car is like right with me all the time. So yeah, I know what you're thinking, and no. I had always wanted a Golf Country, but they're really hard to find. And they don't come in the first generation, the Mark I, which is what I always wanted as well. So I was like, well, I guess I'll make one. She rocks snow tires year-round, and Volkswagen Sebring wheels. The lift is actually done with some Bilstein heavy-duty struts. This spare tire holder was actually one of my first welding projects ever, y'all. But don't get too excited, because really all I welded was this plate right here onto the bumper, because the rest of this I found on a old Kia Sportage in a junkyard. And I just welded a Volkswagen hub onto the back of it so that my wheel would bolt on. People always make fun of me and say that my roof rack is like the most useless, worthless thing on the car. Yeah, before you guys say that, let me just say that it's not. I am a mobile mechanic. So I quite often carry big, heavy things on top of my car. That's where I carry my used oil and used coolant so that it's not inside the car and it doesn't spill and it doesn't smell. Yes, that is a Subaru hood scoop. Terrible paint job, brought to you by Mako. Oh my gosh, look at that face. She's just so cute. Actually, funny story, this was supposed to be a $600 paint job. And then they got me to agree to be filmed when I picked up the car as part of like their fall back in love with your car campaign. And when I went to pick it up, and I got half off for doing that. So I agreed. So instead of $600, this was a $300 paint job. You know, not bad. It was really graffiti all over the place before I got this paint job. And I was like, I'm an adult now. The color I chose was basically, it's like a single stage paint that was inspired by the gray color that was on the new Scion TC when I worked as a Toyota technician. And when I went to pick up the car, I was so disappointed when I saw it that they actually didn't use any of the footage. But I still got the paint job for $300. That's a sticker. That's a sticker that someone else peeled off their car and I put on my car like 8 years ago, and it's still there, so whatever. So when I first bought the car, she obviously looked nothing like this. So let me tell you about that. When I first got the car, she had the stock engine, which was a 1.5 liter diesel engine. Which, if any of y'all know about the older diesels, the 1.5, not the 1.6, the 1.5 was a total lemon. I saw this car on the side of the road behind a barn in Washington State, and I absolutely, like, it was like love at first sight. I needed to have the car. Granted, I was in the middle of a road trip. I was 3,000 miles away from home. I had never held a wrench in my life. And I had an awesome car at the time already. And obviously I couldn't bring both of the cars home. So I sold my perfectly good, perfect running 96 GTI VR6. It had all the little issues had already been worked out on it. The timing chain guides had been replaced. The crack pipe had been replaced. It literally had nothing wrong with it. And here I was, stupid me, and I saw this car and it was diesel and I was like, oh my God, I have to have it.
Here's the new one. This is Gaia, 1980 Volkswagen Diesel Rabbit. There she is. Look at her. She's cute. And
so I bought it, and over the course of that summer, in the middle of my road trip, I converted it to run on waste vegetable oil. There was like this big alternative fuels club that I joined in Portland, and like there was all sorts of alternative fuels being used, and like with the help of a bunch of other people, because I was not a mechanic at the time, I didn't know anything at the time, with the help of a bunch of other people, I made this weird mutant waste vegetable oil kit. I had a tank in the back, I had a tank up front, I had like a heated oil, a heated fuel filter set up and jacketed fuel lines and all. I thought I was so freaking awesome. Yeah, then time came to return home on my road trip, and literally, like, I appreciate the car so much. Literally, like, the engine, I mean, there was like a few hiccups, but I drove the car home 3,000 miles, like, finishing my road trip over like the period of like 3 or 4 months, and it was not until like right at my mother's doorstep that all of a sudden she just started like pluming white smoke out the back. And I was like, okay, something's wrong, and it's not to do with the waste vegetable oil system this time, unfortunately. So for those of you who have watched my previous videos, you know that, or I mean, obviously not on this channel, but on my personal channel, you know that this car is really what turned me into a mechanic. I bought my first set of tools because of this car. When the engine blew up, I couldn't afford to buy a new one or have someone else rebuild it or put it in. So I actually took myself to the Sears Father's Day tool sale and bought myself my first set of tools. And under the guidance of an amazing mentor of mine, I rebuilt the diesel engine, the 1.5 liter. And you might say, wow, that's like so cool for a newbie, like good for you, Faye. Yeah, it lasted like a couple years. No, it lasted like not even a year, like several months. And then it blew up again. And then I rebuilt it again, and then it blew up again. So third time's a charm. I'm like, I'm determined to daily drive this car until the day that I die. So I've got to put something in there that is reliable, that's cheap, that's fuel efficient, and that's gonna last forever. So I was racking my brain. I really wanted to get like a 1.9 liter TDI, so I was like, that'd be so sweet. But they were really spendy. And I found this engine for $200. And I remember like way back to maybe like 2009 or 2010, when I had first met my mentor at a shop called Yarrow Sport, and Jesse was basically trying to kill this Volkswagen Golf. They were like, what can we do to make this engine stop running? They drained all the oil out, they drained all the coolant out, and the thing kept on running. Finally, I think they ended up like shoving, I don't know, maybe like a water hose down into the intake, and I think hydro locked it that way, and like finally it died, but like it was a very unnatural way that like it died, like, and it took a lot of effort. So I was like, you know what? That's what I need. That's perfect. Ta-da! The rest is history. Inside my car, you'll see a beautiful work in progress. These are Honda Prelude seats that I got out of a junkyard, and they're so comfy, and I just like the way they look, and I like the way they just sort of squeeze me in there. Now, let's see. I'm in the process of actually finishing up cleaning up my wiring, and I was a little bit too cheap to get a dash mat, so I made my own out of something. Most of the things on my cluster don't work, so this is actually temporary. I wasn't sure why my fuel gauge didn't work, so I wired a spare one in for a second and realized that it was on the gauge that didn't work, not anything else. And I'm actually planning on making one of the, like a new gauge cluster area, like out of wood. Actually, my husband's a woodworker. He made this panel for me. Here we see the This is the factory one. This sort of fake, I don't know, vinyl. So yeah, for the longest time, this has been my cluster. It just says the fuel level, which has never been accurate, and it says my speed, which is not accurate, and that's it. Of course, you see some things over here that are sort of left over from my waste vegetable oil setup. Vegetable oil and dyno, or regular fuel, regular diesel. Now, however, this is my reverse switch. I put it on a toggle switch because Texas, y'all. This is all gonna come out at some point. This works, that doesn't. So it's like almost midnight. I went to like publish this video and I realized that like I hadn't, oh my beverage. I realized that I hadn't filmed like an outro yet, so oops. So there's been like a whole work day in between when I started filming this video and when I'm finishing it, but like that's okay, no big deal. Anyways, I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked the tour of my car and a little introduction to Gaia and the relationship that we've had for like, I don't know, the past like long time. I would say that I hope you like my car, but that clearly was not the point of this video. Obviously not everyone who watches this is gonna like my car, and that's actually okay with me because I built my car for me, right? Not for you. And also like I hate being copied. So if you don't like my car, then that means you won't copy me, so that's yeah, anyways, so now we hope to hear from you. So if you are a lady who is in the automotive industry in some realm, or even if you're like just an automotive hobbyist, or you just have a car that you love and you want to make a little tour video of your car, then please do so and respond with the hashtag woman and machine so that we can find you and I can add you to the playlist so that everyone else can find you and watch your video. And speaking of other responses, check out this video by Alexis and watch yours next. All right, y'all, bye.
I am doing the Woman and Machine challenge question number 6. Right now I am in my 2013 Scion FRS. So I'm going to show you my drift car, daily, winter car. This is what I got.